everybody. Welcome to Money Management. Today we're having a very special show. It's called Couch to Couch, Real Estate Talk. And I have my very good friends that have been in real estate for over a few decades now, Marty Azoulay and Brad Roth. And as a special segment, I will be taking off my screensaver so that way you could see my couch. And here we go.
Whoa, what a couch.
That's nice. I like the fire.
Hey, that's not a casting couch, right?
No. No, I do have my picture above me right here, which is Redondo Beach, the Redondo Pier that I enjoy, going cycling, riding. Yeah. That's really what
you've been doing a lot of that lately, Ben, right?
Yes, I've been watching him too. You see him on Instagram.
Like this whole new fit version of him.
Ben.
I wanted to touch upon what buyers right now, given the market that we're in, are really looking forward to when they're purchasing a property, whether it's residential, commercial, multifamily, investor, or just for their own usage. And I wanted to really see what you guys as professionals and have been doing this and training and mentoring many agents, how are you yourselves, dealing with borrowers, buyers, investors when they're paying, top dollar for properties right now, difficult, multiple offer situations, difficult to get qualified for loans. How are you dealing with it? And, what would you recommend the investors, the buyers, the borrowers to really, really focus on?
As far as agents, when I'm training my or coaching my agents, as I'm sure Marty does as well, I encourage them to obviously write as clean an offer as possible and to really figure out what separates them from other agents. I try to encourage them to, whatever lender they're working with, to make sure that lender calls and introduces themselves to the listing agent and says, hey, I want to just let you know, I know that Brad Roth wrote an offer for so-and-so, and that person is amazing. And then you want to encourage that agent to be zealous, but not overzealous with the listing agent, right? Marty and Ben, right? You don't want them to be a pain in the butt. You don't want them to, if they don't get the deal, you don't want them to accuse the listing agent of maybe double popping it. There's so
even though it's true.
Yeah, which you know what, good for them and they deserve it. And if they can do it, great. But it's, we got to work together for years to come.
Absolutely.
Right?
It boils down to, it boils down to relationships. And Brad, you did a segment about, how to properly communicate. Yeah. So everyone who hasn't listened to your segment, really you should.
I was at home and I was enjoying my night and I had just double popped a listing. And there was an agent had 14 offers on a home. And this one agent was so bad. And I saw the problems. And she called me and she just was berating me nonstop. And I said, I got to tell you, this isn't the way to communicate with a listing agent. To you right now, this may be your only deal, but you need to really think about your future in this business. Because when I started and Marty started and Ben started, all we had were index cards that we would write up. Remember? We'd write, Marty Azoulay, the A team. Okay, good guy. Talked to him before, whatever. Now we have computers. It's real easy. You know what I say? Hey, Siri, tell me about Marty. Oh, Marty's a very good agent. Great. You did these deals with him. Great. We didn't have that then. It's so much easier, isn't it now?
Technology really, really stepped in, and I'm going to let Marty give us his input on this. And
I would say probably 70% of the deals that I do get, even in this crazy market, is because I could pick up the phone and say, hey, Ben, what does it take? Stephanie, Raquel, they're we're a 95-5 business, right? And the 5% of us that are still around that have been doing this long enough, right, know the others. If you're if you're not a good guy, people talk,
Right.
that travels much
Right.
faster than the alternative.
Yeah.
So when I hire people for my team, that's kind of one of the biggest perks I give them, right? I've been doing this 22 years. I try to always treat people the way I want to be treated. I try to do good, clean business, and you do the best you can. But to pick up the phone and be able to talk to somebody, and at the very least, hey, you know what? I got my own offer. Cool, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's move on.
Yes.
Right.
Versus the games and the headache.
Right.
So right. And that's the way you handle that. It's okay, great. I'll move to the next. I'm
Right.
going to find them something.
No,
Yeah.
transparency is key. And, I think that's really the common denominator between successful relationships to unsuccessful relationships. If somebody's holding back one way or another and they're not communicating it to the other party, whether it's personal or business, something is not being transparent. And, I think that at the end of the day, given, the situation that we're in, and, we're obviously all Zooming, and we're in California, which obviously in comparison to the rest of the world, we're probably the most constrained, I would say. So as professionals in the essential business of real estate, we have to figure out how to communicate, how to operate, where people want to do business with us, and we're actually providing service.
Right.
At the end of the day, what I heard from you, Brad, and from you, Marty, is that it's really all service driven. We want to do good. We want to help our clients, whether they're agents or buyers. We want to be able to lead them and guide them, to the right decision that's for them, whatever that decision is. I remember Brad telling me about, I was talking to him, I think a few months ago, about a client that you had that decided not to sell. And she felt so bad. And she was telling you, oh my God, but all the time you spent. And you said, don't worry about it. Listen, when you're ready, you're ready.
It's life. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how, and Marty, because you and I were talking earlier with Ben, and you were saying, it's so hard to figure out the market, right? We're doing the best we can, but
Sure.
there's no rhyme or reason. And I can't tell you how many conversations I have with my clients where I go, look, I know I probably shouldn't be telling you this right now because I'm in to make a living, but I don't think this is the right time for you with what you are trying to accomplish, because every client is different, right? Every client has a different story. But when we take the time to figure out what our clients' needs are, and we put their needs before our commission, they see it.
And that's the only way to really get longevity in this business, right? It's, again, we've all been doing this, like I said, a long time. I would say probably 35% of my business just walks in the door.
Yeah, mine too.
It's the friend of a friend of a friend, and it's because you do the right thing day in and day out. It's never about the dollar. It shouldn't be about the dollar. If you want to make this your career, it should always be about the client. And sometimes not selling is the right play. This would make a much better rental than so if you could take yourself out of the equation, if you don't come from that place of desperation and holy shit, I really need this 10 grand, right, and do the right thing, potentially it'll lead to 50 to 100 grand.
That's exactly right.
You know what I mean? It's just about doing right.
And what you just said, Marty, about sometimes it's about maybe doing a rental, right? So you get them with a guy like Ben, who's now money management. He's a lender, and you go, okay, tell you what you should do. You take this house, then you talk to my guy Ben. Ben's going to then refi you. You're going to do a cash out refi. You're going to take some more money, and you'll buy a house from me with that money while you're renting that house out, and
that'll cover itself.
Right.
Figure out what's right for you.
Yeah.
Right. As long as it's for business purpose. Yeah. And that's the key, because obviously people are taking money out of their own primaries, and we're able to do business purpose loans for investments. So, I'm glad, Brad, that you brought back, money management, because at the end of the day, a lot of sellers that are selling today are selling because they want to maximize what they could get for their property. And unfortunately, I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's a big movement, obviously, to Texas, to Florida,
Nashville.
Yeah. So, and
Therefore, there's no state tax.
Yeah.
Right. Not just that, but you get more for your money with properties.
Sure.
You're able to buy an investment property. But again, it really boils down to the long path of that family or that individual or that investor, because it might not necessarily be the right path just because it makes it makes sense financially. So
the other thing is you gotta, I mean, we're all right around that same age. Well, Ben, you're probably younger than us, but
Yes.
you and I, Brad, are close, right? So that means our clientele, we tend to work with our people, right? So our people are also in their 50s, also starting to, instead of how do I get the
Figuring
nice
out what we're
car, how do I,
later, right.
their thought
Yeah.
process is shifting and changing. So as they're changing, we're changing, right? We're all evolving together.
Right.
A lot of my people aren't looking to acquire more. They're looking to simplify.
Right.
Get the hell out of Dodge. Just
How am I going to take what I have
for the rest?
here? Right. Yeah.
So since we're talking about simplification, I wanted to bring up systems. And I wanted to see, recently I did a webinar about Farming 101, which was geared specifically towards any professional. Now, obviously, I've been in real estate and I know all the different aspects of real estate, but as I got to decide that this is the field I want to be in, I examined and, interned, and throughout even my early years in real estate, I met a lot of other professionals that at the end of the day needed to solicit just like we do, needed to be very service oriented just like we do, and really needed a business plan and a system in order to truly implement their goals. So if they want to make a certain amount of money, at the end of the year, they got to back it up and see how many leads, how many conversions, just like I learned with Mike Ferry, Daniel Penley, Tom Hopkins. I'm sure you guys with many coaches and mentors. What would you guys recommend for not a brand new professional? And I'm not talking about just realtors again or mortgage.
You're talking about any. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. Any professional that's in the service industry that's soliciting. What would you recommend the main thing for them to do before the first quarter of this year is done? Something that they cannot wait with, something that is an absolute must in order for them to succeed.
I think as always, at the beginning of every year, I start with prospecting. And strictly my sphere, my friends and family. Every year starts out with hey, this is what's happening today. This is why it's happening. And this is how I'm forecasting the next 6 to 8 months. Does any of this ring for you, resonate for you? Do you want to make a move? Do you know anybody who's looking to make a move? Yeah. January is always really slow for me. I mean, it's been this year is the exception, of course, but historically that's how I get my year started. So by February, I've got 5-6 deals in the pipeline. Yeah. The one thing I will say though, for anybody, consistency. You could say a lot of things about a lot of people. This guy, Ben here, I mean, he was a door knocking fiend. You would think that people were giving him dollars every time he knocked on the door, but you and your buddy, I mean, you guys own that section of Woodland Hills. I mean, yeah. Nobody could come anywhere near you, and God forbid you should stumble upon somebody and say, "Hey, no." I work with Ben.
Marty, you talk about him door knocking. My God, you should have seen him in the office on the phone. Look, this is Ben. I would like to sell your house. And then he go, "What do you mean?" He go, "What do you mean? I'm selling your house. I'll be there at 4:00. Click."
I thank you guys. I thank you guys for the props, and it's something I can continuously remind myself. When I came to this country in 9th grade, and seeing all the opportunities, seeing how people live, and truly being able to potentially get there just seemed unreal to me. and that's what really drove me. And that's what we all are trying to help, everybody that we come in contact with, agents, professionals. We all want to somehow achieve financial freedom, obviously have some sort of an exit game, know when we don't have to necessarily sell and have residual income. So real estate obviously is an amazing residual income source. And I know you brought up consistency, Marty, and Brad obviously was nice enough to reciprocate and remind, what he saw me doing, because if I didn't do it, I would have to pay Mike Feuer money, because right. He already had my check and he would have cashed it. So, at the end of the day, I think we all have to try and step outside the box that we are all very confined, very comfortable being in, and look at where we want to be and implement the systems that we want to implement. That's really, really key. Implementation, because, a lot of people can talk. It really boils down to doing it. That's why I was never afraid to tell everybody everything I do, because I knew.
You did. That's the thing, right? Nobody's willing to do that work.
Right.
Yeah, you know what's funny, Marty? And I started in 98, and I think you were like right, either 99, 98.
Right around there.
Right. So we're all about the same. And people used to say to me a few years later, Brad, why do you tell everyone what you do? Why are you sharing all of your secrets with everyone else? And I said, because half of the people aren't going to do them. The other half is going to be grateful that I helped them. Yeah. And I want to help people. I want to see everyone succeed. Like, I don't know. And then I started thinking, am I doing something wrong? Like, why? Well, I want to help people. Like, isn't that why we're here in life?
I can tell you guys, coming back to, and we're going to need to wrap it up, because we would like for our people to, continue and watch us, listen to us, and hopefully this has been fun. But, the one thing that I keep reminding myself is I'm maybe second year in the business, 1997, and I'm showing condominiums to an investor of mine on Burbank and Topanga, right across from Denny's. Right as you the freeway. So the guy is buying units for 30,000. This is 1997, 30,000.
Wow. Right after the earthquake, everything's settling in.
Yeah.
Right. And I go, sir, how many would you like to buy? And he goes, how many do they have? And I go, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 listings. He goes, I'll buy them all. So the bottom, this is 1997. So the bottom line is bringing it back to real estate, money management, making money. All of us obviously want to make sure that we're efficient with our time. This is that no matter what time it is, it's always a good time to buy.
Yes. But Ben, really quick, because you brought up a great point.
Yeah.
I know you got to go. But just tell your listeners, because I know they're all over the United States, that this guy who bought 20 of them from you for $30,000 a piece, how much are they worth today? 20 years.
About $750 each.
$750,000 each.
That's correct.
That's a better return than Google.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Right. Absolutely.
Not a bad return.
And it produces income. I mean, think about it.
By the way, he's probably never sold any of them, and he just earns income off them every month.
Well, I mean, at 30 grand, I'm sure they were bringing in $1,000 a month back then.
God.
He had a plan. He was a painter. He saved up money. He knew it was time to buy. And, I want to end with the fact that we have to implement when it's time to implement. We have to execute when it's time to execute. And when it's time to acquire skills and get experience in what it is that we're looking to do, that's when it's time for us to get lessons, to get information, to really do our research properly. I thank you guys very much, and I hope to see you again on Couch to Couch Real Estate Talk.